Should we buy or sell Brazil? First off, read this disclaimer carefully and do your good deed of today by liking and subscribing. So let's look at Brazil. So here we have it, 5% from the 52-week low, and it is in bear market territory, measured, in, minus 29% from the 52-week high, and, minus 20%, pullback is considered, technically speaking, to be, bear market. If you want some bullish leverage, you have this one. It's the BRZU, and you can also be bearish by using this one, minus 2x, and that's BZQ from ProShares. We will analyze the EWZ because that is, it gives us an idea of, the underlying. But we will, of course, look at, the correlations with the deleveraged alternatives. We do have these smaller time cycles that have done a decent job at capturing, the major momentum. It suggests, that, we should expect a rising phase. We are currently testing major, big picture, multi-decade horizontal support. So this is definitively an opportunity that the bulls should take advantage of, because if the bulls are not willing to show up when we are faced with, multi-decade support, then when will they show up? So yeah, that is the primary assumption here, is that, given that we have this major support level, the bulls have no excuse not to. And of course, it would be a very, very, very bad signal if the bulls are not, capable of buying at these very depressed levels. Looking at the daily data points, we are in this, we do have the horizontal support. But beyond that, it's tricky. You also have the time cycles. The downtrend has been pretty ferocious. Let's look at, the other indicators. A weekly RSI is currently bouncing from a level that has formed the lows, as you can see here in the past. So that is, potentially bullish. The distance from the 20, 50, 100, and 200 week moving average, it's at a level that has, formed lows, as you can see here in the, recent past. So there's some, additional potential bullish signals. When we zoom in a bit here, there is some interesting behavior here from the MACD. There's a bit of a rise. So there's some divergence here, between the MACD price and also RSI and price. You see that there are some higher highs here on the, and also higher lows on the RSI. Yeah, but let's explore further, because, the bullish signals we did see here on the technicals, they are very tepid, very, lukewarm, but there's something happening here. Looking at correlations, minus 19% long-term with the S&P 500, 84% positive with the leveraged bullish ETF, BRZU, and then we have 10-ish% positive with the bearish one. Let's jump. Okay, and we do have 8-ish% positive with the dollar index. Looking at the daily data points, minus 72% negative with the S&P 500, and almost perfect correlation with the BRZU. That is what you want to see. So that's very good. So there's very little tracking error short term. Looking here at the bearish one, minus 98% negative, and that is also what we want to see. So very nice correlations, which means that short term, these leveraged products, they seem to work. though there were issues when we looked at them on the weekly data points. And then there's minus 80% with the dollar index, short term. So looking at the seasonality for Brazil, so it popped up on my radar because the seasonality is very interesting. So over the last 5 years, December and January are some of the strongest months for Brazil. Over the last 10 years, you can see that there usually is a very dramatic change in sentiment from November, which tends to be very weak, to December, that is one of the strongest months. And then you look here at the last 20 years, then December is the strongest of all months for Brazil, with an average 3.8% gain. There is a diagonal support level here from Finwiz, and you could also make the case that we have broken, well, we have attempted at least to break out here above this diagonal resistance level. When we compare the S&P 500 with Brazil, looking at price earnings, we do see that S&P is 25-ish% above Brazil. The dividend is Brazil is 2.87%, which is much bigger than the 1.22 you get from the S&P. Looking at the holdings, here are the companies in Brazil. So here's the sector breakdown: finance, non-energy materials, and minerals. So minerals in general are pretty big in Brazil, while in America we see that tech is king. Alright, here's the market cap breakdown. So if I were to sum up here, okay. So the technical picture shows us that we are testing a very, very long-term horizontal support level. The seasonality is very strong. You could make a value case, vis-a-vis the S&P 500. There's a nice dividend. So basically, the bulls, they don't really have much, in terms of excuses not to buy Brazil now. If the bulls are not willing to buy with these factors in play, then that would obviously be a very bad signal. So yeah, I think that it is easier to make a bullish case for Brazil than a bearish one, so I would lean towards the leveraged bullish ETF here. But we definitively do want to get out very far away if the bulls are not able to show up.